Hey everybody, and welcome back to Natural Piano. This time we're looking at Chasing Pavements by Adele Adkins and Francis White. First released in 2008, and it's taken from the album 19, and part 1 goes like this. Okay, so this won Adele the Grammy for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance in 2009. So let's start with the tune. And it starts on a G above middle C, just here. And G repeats a few times, so. So you've got 5 repeated Gs there, so. And then a G again before it jumps up to the D, then comes down, C, B, back up to the C, B, A, G. So it goes like this. And then the next phrase is, so then you'll be on a thumb, having just used a finger all the way down for each note, then just put the 4th on the A, and then you've got the thumb just ready for the E, which is next. So there's 4 of those, and then it carries on with an E there. So let's just go back and do that phrase again. So, and then the A, and then the E's. Then moving on, it's E, F, E, F, E, F, E. So that's 2, 3, 4. And then it's the last 3 notes of that phrase is repeated E, and then 2 A's. So let's just do all of that again. Okay, then there's a short break, and then a group of notes that's just slightly quicker. So it starts on the C, then goes up, jumps down to the B, steps up, jumps down to the A, steps up, and jumps to the G. So C, D, B, C, A, B, G. Then the next note is up to an E, and then back down to the G before jumping up to the C. So let's do that phrase again. And then the second half of part 1 is pretty much exactly the same. There's just 2 introductory E's, and then we're back on the G's again. So 2 E's, 4 G's, the G repeats, then so 4th finger you can get there, and then it carries on as before, repeated E's and Fs, and then repeated E up to the A. So let's just do that again. And a break, then this run of notes again. So starting on the C, stepping up, drop to the B, up, drop to the A, down to the G. Then jump E, F, and then into the chorus. So the right hand repeats during part one, so it's two lots of the same phrase, but the left hand, as you'll see coming up next, changes pattern. So it goes from being a sort of smooth accompaniment to a much more rhythmic pulse. So let's move on to the left hand. So it starts on an A, down here. So middle C there, just over an octave below. And it's continuous and even notes all the way through the first half of part one. So it's like this. A, then up to the E, then the C, then the A, G, E, G, B, and then F. Okay, so let's just recap on that. So starting on the A, E, C, and A, then down to the G, back up to the E, down to the G, B, and then F. Okay, moving the phrase on. So from the F, then the D, then try and get your thumb just to go underneath to the A, which then gives you the fingers for G sharp, E, G sharp, and B. So let's go back to that second phrase. So we got to the F, then we jumped up to the D, under for the A, G sharp, E, G sharp, B, and then moving on down to the F, up to the D, and then an A this time, back to the F, G, E, G, B, and C. So let's recap that bit again. Starting on an F, up to the D, A, F, G, E, G, B, and C. Okay, then there's two connecting notes, which are A and G, and then we're back up to C, and this now accompanies the repeat of the tune. But this time, as we were saying just earlier, it's a much different accompaniment, so it's much more rhythmic. And instead of wandering around, as it did for the first half, it's now just all pretty much repeating notes. So let's look at that second half. So we've got the two connecting notes, and then up to the C, and then it repeats like this. So just recapping on that. So it starts on the C, and then the rhythm is like this. So that rhythm shape repeats all the way through the second half. So let's just do it one more time, and then we'll move on to the next notes. So you'll see it just carried on down. So we got to the B, and then down to the A, and then that repeats, and then the G sharp. But this time, just for the last note of that set, it drops down to the E, and then comes back up. to an F with the same rhythm. So let's just do that again. So from the A it's then to the G sharp, down to the E, back up to the F, and then the G. So let's just recap that second half again. Starting on the C, so when you come back up to the G, the rhythm is then this. So it's still got that uneven rhythm, but then it just has two even notes, G up to the next G at the end of it. And that's the left hand for part 1. Thanks for watching Natural Piano. Enjoy your playing. Okay, if you're not already signed up with us, click on the link to continue with part 2. Don't forget to hit subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we post all the first parts to our tutorials. And you can also find us on Facebook, and if you have any requests, please post on Twitter using the hashtag #NPRequests. We'd also love to see how you're getting on with the tutorials, so please post a clip on Instagram using the hashtag #natural_piano, and we will share the clip. Thanks for watching Natural Piano. Enjoy your playing.